Hi, I'd like to answer a question that was posed to me recently, and I found it actually happening from a few other therapists that I've come across, and that is what happens if you've come to Israel, you're needing to earn, you're an occupational therapist and you don't yet have a license. I have found that there are some therapists who will start working, and there's some schools who will take therapists without a license. The pay is below minimum wage, and some therapists are prepared to do that. I don't understand the reasoning as to why they're prepared to do that, but I thought I'd address the situation because it has an impact on us as occupational therapists professionally, as a professional body, to be able to be appreciated and accepted and acknowledged as members of the profession, of a medical team of health professionals. We need to be keeping up to our part of the work ethic as well. So just as a reminder, when I was a student, I'm sure that this happens elsewhere in the world also, before we could even do our clinical practices, we had to register with what in those days in South Africa was called the Medical and Dental Council. So we had to have some kind of a license, a certificate that would enable us to go in and start working with clients. Once I qualified in every country that I've worked, I've had to obtain a license. I would say that once coming to Israel, yes, there's a process. You have to learn the language, and there's a process. When I made Aliyah, we had to do what was called stage, which is a sort of a residency, working underneath a therapist until such time as even if you have experience. I came with 14 years experience, and I still had to work under another therapist to prove that I knew what I was doing. I had to do that for 18 months. But during that time, I obtained from the Misrad HaBriut, which is the Ministry of Health, a temporary license, which allowed me to work as an occupational therapist. I had already had my degree reviewed and okayed from the Ministry of Education. I had obtained, my file was complete with the Ministry of Education. So there is a lengthy process. In today's time, one has to do an exam, a written exam. I'm not sufficiently familiar as to how much of that is in Hebrew, how much of it could be in another language. You can find out all that information on the website from Nefesh B'Nefesh. So what can you do if you are an occupational therapist or a health professional and you're finding yourself in need of earning, but you don't yet have the license? Well, first thing is find out from the Ministry of Health whether they still have the option to have a temporary license. Obviously, if you have a temporary license, then you're able to start working. The other things that you can do in Israel, they love to push therapists or anybody who's new to the country into doing things like secretarial work, babysitting, and house cleaning. House cleaning is a very, very big one. The simple reason is because there are many people who will put out for needing a house cleaner. If you're going to be a regular house cleaner, you do get benefits such as transport and Bitur Leumi paid for you. And you can be earning sometimes more than you would as a qualified, licensed occupational therapist. I'll say that again because it's a very hard pill to swallow, a tough pill to swallow, a bitter pill to swallow. And that is that sometimes the reality is that working in house cleaning, earning 40 to 50 shekels, sometimes even 60 shekels an hour if you're doing cleaning before Pesach, for example, the hourly rate can be quite often more than you get as an occupational therapist. My first options working in occupational therapy, I was offered to work earning, this was once I had my license, I was offered to be earning 25 shekels an hour, 23 shekels an hour when I already had 23 years experience. That's the last time I was working in a facility. I was offered 23 shekels an hour, and that's really getting below minimum wage. Doing house cleaning, you're getting 40 to 50 shekels an hour, which is double your salary. So the hard reality is that many health professionals, especially from Russia, who come along, will actually do that. They'll be earning less. They'll be earning in menial work because they're going to be earning more if they're working than if they're working as a qualified therapist. So that's a hard reality, but there are other options. So what are your other options? Well, firstly, as I would recommend that you would get to know people like Pat Flynn. Pat Flynn is the architect, professional architect, who was unfortunately retrenched. I'm sorry, Pat, if you don't mind me telling your story a little bit. and he's got into all sorts of ways in which one can earn passive income. Now, in order to earn passive income, you do need an active income. So that's where, if you're doing something like house cleaning, babysitting, childcare, you could be taking in a number of children and be a child carer or a carer for the elderly. That's another option. What are other options? You could be doing children's parties. You could be creative. If you have a talent of any sort, you could be able to add to the children's talents and do some kind of an entertainment. You could be getting into non-clinical ways of practicing, which would mean that you could be making up products, writing books, preparing worksheets and so on to sell. There are websites such as Etsy, or you can develop your own website, which is what I do. I did start in other platforms, and I have a website. You can have a look at my website, www.creationsfromjerusalem.com, where you'll see some of the products that I'm making. I have a few ranges of products. You can get into printing on t-shirts, you can get into doing educational videos, and there are ways that you can earn through the videos. Although we're doing information for free, there are ways that you can earn from this. What are other options? You can be doing, like I do, freelance writing, and there are many ways in which you can do that. You do need to be able to learn how to be able to use your skills to earn correctly, because there are certain websites out there that will take advantage. The content mills, for example, will take advantage and try to charge a cent, 2 cents, up to 10 cents a word. You're needing, if you're already a qualified, experienced occupational therapist, you're needing to earn more than that. So there are other options, and if you're interested in finding out more of what the other options are, do be in touch. I'll be happy to coach you in ways in which you could be able to earn legally. You can also do a course to become any kind of, there are various different kinds of coaches. You can become a mentor. There are other ways that you can use your skills, channel them in a slightly different direction, and you can be able to earn sometimes even more than what you would as a qualified occupational therapist working in facilities here. And the message really is that there are many options out there. I am actually in the process of completing another book that has a number of more details and more options for you. I have a newsletter out which you can sign up for. You're welcome to sign up for the newsletter. You're welcome to request certain other videos on this channel. Subscribe to this channel. I would recommend, if you're interested in getting involved in the non-clinical ways of working, as many therapists now are doing, there's a Facebook group of the non-clinical PT. It might be for PTs being physical therapists, but occupational therapists are also joining the group, and I'm hoping that very soon we're going to be able to have Meredith come on board and do an interview, and she'll be able to explain more about her Facebook group and what it is that you can be doing. So there are other options, and I'm grateful for people asking these difficult questions, because all is not lost. If you have skills and you've put yourself through university and you've become a therapist, there are ways in which you can still be earning, and you can go ahead and complete on the side, obtaining your license, and from there you'll be able to start to fit into working within the system, and slowly, if you want to develop your own private practice or continue on a new direction in whether it's developing products, whether it's now doing freelance writing, whatever it is, maybe you'll find that you have a new direction. So thanks for asking your question, and I hope that this has answered some of it. Ciao for now, and see you in the next video.